Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do y'all articles. This is Queen of Fertility. I apologize I didn't say it in the first story, okay? I just really to do it because, I'm kind of late with it. We are here to break the codes and find out the truth, okay? Now, this very emotional for me, y'all, because I know none of the schools teach this to you all. I thought they did, but I guess not. I guess I was just spying on y'all to see what they teaching y'all this shit, and they did not. Okay, not this shit, but you know what I mean. This is every black kid or anybody, all of us should be knowing this story by now. Okay, on Black History Month. Okay, for life, okay? This is like one of the sickening stories, gruesome stories I ever heard in my life. I'm actually his lawyer, okay? And I'm actually watching over his two kids he left, okay? And grandkids, okay? This is about James Byrd Jr., okay? This happened in Texarkana, Texas, and I am going to show them where the location is at, okay? Um, his wife, their mother, she's also deceased as well, okay? But he is now, him and the family, they want us to now tell his daughter and his son this, okay? David and Dana Byrd, okay? So, it's 25 years after James Byrd Jr. was killed for being black. His loved ones question how much has changed in Texas. It happened in Jasper though, but it's so. Okay, let's begin. Also, they want me to show you the video too at the end, okay? The quiet East Texas town of Jasper, Texarkana, Texas is East Texas, okay? The quiet East Texas town of Jasper came together immediately after the racist murder of James Byrd Jr. Now, Texas is leading the nations in incidents of white supremacist propaganda, okay? They should be teaching y'all this in school, okay? Content warning. The story contains graphic descriptions of a hate crime. Okay? Jasper. On a spring afternoon in May, Keith Adams and James Frailer, they still alive, we got them contained, sat on lawn chairs off of Huff Creek Road, a single lane thoroughfare outside of Jasper's city limits. The two men, between shrieks of Bud Light, laughed and traded memories about their former neighbor, James Byrd Jr. Yes, we did not know him, okay? We knew him after this story. He was a clown, Adam said, always singing. True, he did sing, he told me. Always doing impersonations. He said he was going to make history. Okay, so that means he was being friendly with his neighbors, okay? He probably did not know that. He did not know they were racist, okay? He probably didn't think it was still, real, okay? In the early morning hours of June the 7th, 1998, three white men, Shane Bull's ankles. A could be significant. It could have happened in the 80s. Yes. His family saying yes. Bull's. Three white men chained Bull's ankles to the back of a pickup truck and dragged the then 49-year-old black man for nearly 3 miles down the same isolated and woody road where Adams and Frailer sat. When they did that, they mutilated him. They literally dismembered him. You can dismember somebody like that, okay? 3 miles is a long way, okay? The remains of Bull's decapitated and mutilated body were left outside of a nearby African American church to be found Sunday morning. They left him in front of my family lineage house. Bull's gruesome murder shocked the nation and brought an onslaught of attention to a small East Texas town fondly known as the Jewel of the Forest. In the immediate aftermath of Bull's killing, the town sprung to action. Yes, we did. Church leaders and local officials sought to keep the peace and migrate residents' fear of more violence. The Jasper County Sheriff's Department worked with local and national law enforcement to investigate the heinous crime and ultimately convict three white men of capital murder, though through 3 separate trials. During the next 2 decades, Bull's name will continue to reverberate. State and federal hate crimes laws passed in Bull's name in 2001 and 2009, respectively. Behind the scene, okay, y'all. And the execution of two of Bull's murderers confirmed the white supremacists also forced the states and the public to remember that a real lightweight man, black man, was killed for no other reason than his race. I remember he told me he asked for a ride one day. He was actually walking. I like the movie Time to Kill. Okay. This is like the area. Okay, so it could be like I'm gonna show the kids, everyone else that want to. They don't fuss though. Could be like with the lakes is it, okay? An overhead view of Huff Creek Road and the starting point of where James Byrd Jr. was chained and dragged for nearly 3 miles in Jasper in 1998. Okay. An opening in the woods where James Byrd Jr. was first beaten. See, they beat him first, then chained him, okay? Then they got him out his bed actually. Okay, so he probably was sleeping or something. But I also heard that he was walking too. An opening in the woods where James Byrd Jr. was first beaten and then chained to the back of a pickup truck by 3 white men. Okay, this is the area. The ski marks is still on the ground, okay? Today, 25 years after Byrd's death, the incident, so this one regarding life. Today, 25 years after Byrd's death, the incident has faded to the background. Many residents of Jasper, which is home to about 7,400 people, according to the most recent census estimate, say they seldom talk about the tragedy that happened in their country. And young East Texans had hardly seemed to recognize the name James Byrd Jr. That because he is not taught in school systems. Even in Black history, he should have been taught, okay? While Byrd's killing had receded further into history, hate crimes and violent extremists had steadily grown, with Texas leading the nation on incidents of white supremacist propaganda. For Byrd's family and loved ones, it's Byrd's jovial personality they remember the most, and they hope that in remembering and educating, they can migrate hate. They can mitigate hate. Someone quoted this. We can't just say that what had happened to James another day in Jasper, said Lovan. He was a gay man, okay? Said Lovan Byrd Harris, Byrd's sister, who is 65 years old and the youngest of 8 siblings. As of now, we are on our own to keep his memory alive. Yes, even if you are, gay or lesbian, you can still have kids, maybe the family wants you to. Okay? That don't mean you gotta actually have sex with a woman though. When Harris thinks back to growing up in Jasper, she recalls feelings of warmth and safety. Her eldest brother, Byrd, played a large role. Yes, that's his sister. That's your mother, yes. He was the family comedian and protector. True. I liked it being around him because I learned a lot from him, Harry said. He enjoyed people and people enjoyed him. I talked to him from time to time up there. We be chilling, smoking weed, we be chilling. Buzz often enabled through town to visit neighbors and entertain them with jokes or musical performances. True. Byrd was a talented singer and played the piano and trumpet, according to family members and lifelong Jasper residents. True. It is a drawing of him downtown. He was often called upon to perform at birthday parties, funerals, and other events. I remember him as a jolly person who loved to sing, said Gloria Mays Washington, who graduated with Byrd from J.H. Rowe High School around the same time that a school desegregation plan took effect. This James Byrd Jr., second to last on the left, plays the trumpet in an old family photo. There's also another picture of him. James was a loving person. He loved people. LaVon Byrd Harris said about her brother. So you can't figure out who in the world would get mad enough as James to kill him. Yeah, he do come time. Yeah, he calmed down and celebrated the family functions, y'all. He always been in the house. This also him. That's how he really look. Everybody knew James Byrd Jr., said Kenneth Lyons, pastor of the Jasper Church that Byrd's family attended, called Greater New Bethel Baptist Church. Everybody loved him because of his personality and the way he get along with people. In adulthood, a fall left Byrd disabled. See? True. Family members said, and the divorced father of three lived alone in Jasper. Byrd enjoyed drinking and was known to the sheriff's department because he was arrested for minor crimes. He continued playing music petition. He continued playing music and also earned money as a salesperson. He could sell anything, Harris said. By the time he leave, you have a 2000 vacuum cleaner. He did create vacuum cleaners now. Harris thought her brother's visceral attitude would keep him out of harm's way. So when she received a phone call from her sister soon after her brother's body was found, she was both shocked and confused. James was a loving person and he loved people, Harris said. So you can't figure out who in the world would get mad enough as James to kill him. On Sunday morning, the Jasper County Sheriff Billy Rose was driving to Dallas for a golf tournament when he heard on the radio that a body was found on Huff Creek Road. Rose spoke to the deputy on the scene, who said there appeared to have been a hit and run. Rose turned his truck around and drive back to Jasper. Yes, when they dropped him off, we was having a party. We stopped the party, okay? On Huff Creek, and they ran, okay, they left. On Huff Creek Road, Rowless saw tracks on the ground and thought it would be easy to identify the car losing the incident. It quickly became clear that something more sinister had happened. Those markings were not tire tracks, but the trail left from Bull's dragged body. At the end of the path, Rowless saw a heavy, mutilated, and dismembered body. Along the way, he found a trail of evidence: keys, empty beer cans from them, and a cigarette lighter with an invertible symbol. Yeah, they also said he was smoking a cigarette. He asked them for a lighter. With an inverted symbol, the sheriff's officer later identified as an embedded for the Ku Klux Klan. Okay. A tip from a young man who saw Byrd riding on the back of a pickup truck. Yes. Saturday night led Rose's team to possible suspect. Sean Berry owned a truck that matched the witness description. Rowless said and Berry lived with John King and Lawrence Brewer, two known white supremacists. They were not supposed to be in the house though. By Sunday evening, all three of the men was in jail. The day after Byrd's murder, Rowless met with FBI official in Beaumont. A killing so clearly motivated by the victim's race belonged under federal jurisdiction. Yes, your sexual orientation is also your race as well. Rowless said that who make you you. Over the next several years, Rowless worked alongside the feds and local police to complete the investigation and prosecute the three perpetrators for the hate crime. 8 months after Byrd's death, his family created a foundation in his name to raise awareness of the impact of hate. The Byrd Foundation for Racial Healing offered a hotline to which people from across Texas called in asking for help with problems such as discrimination or mistreatment within the state's justice system. Yes, the government, we finally gave it to his kids. He left it for his kids, actually. Okay, he left some other stuff for his other family, but left this for his kids. But they got it, which they get grown and mature to get it. Okay, they got it though. Thank you. The Byrd family offered counseling and helped victims attract more attention to their cases. Since then, the foundation had distributed literature, yes, on racial tolerance in schools, provided scholarships to students, and promoted anti-hate messages nationwide. For the 20th anniversary of Byrd's death, okay, so we're going pretty. The foundation placed a memorial bench outside the Jasper County Courthouse with the quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. After two previous incidents, he got cremated, y'all. After two previous incidents, James Byrd Jr.'s burial plot is surrounded by an iron fence to prevent desecration to his grave at the Jasper City Cemetery. Okay, it's on state line. That's how it looks. I think it was actually on state line too. Like you going that down that way. After Byrd's death, the if you can go to the lake that way, I don't know. After Byrd's death, the Byrd Foundation for Racial Healing was created to bring attention to the impact of racial hatred. Okay. Those advances were punctuated by challenges. Since Byrd's death, his grave had been Christ desegregated, leading the family to install an iron gate around it to protect it from further violations. Who they have, okay. We also put another one on there too. About there on the state line, we say keep out. This time they going to prison for real, for real. That's when we knew we still had a whole lot to do. Harry said, "Hate can eat at you and make you do the worst things imaginable." The Byrd family pushed the state lawmakers to pass a hate crime law that would make it easier to prosecute other racially motivated crimes. Initially, then Governor George W. Bush would not support the measure, saying all crimes are hate crimes, a move that frustrated the Bush family. They saying no, I don't think I say that either. However, in 2001, then Governor Wick Perry signed the James Byrd Jr. Hate Crime Act, which increased the penalties for crimes motivated by a person's race, color, disability, religion, national origin, or ancestry, age, gender, or sexual preference. Okay, now I did that one. A few years later, President Barack Obama signed a federal hate crime act named in part for Byrd. He's ain't fool. Since then, fundraisers have been a significant challenge for the foundation. Another quote. People don't want to fund it because they think there's no hate in the world. True, Harris said. There are haters everywhere. For Jasper residents, James Byrd Jr.'s name is not often brought up except when they leave the piney woods. Other cities don't let you forget it, said Rodney Northworthy, president of the Jasper Cemetery Association and a longtime Jasper resident. So we're gonna This is why a lot of people don't come to Jasper. That one piece of history. Norsworthy said he sometimes feels and tell people he from nearby Beaumont to avoid an unwanted conversation about Byrd's horrific murder, and yet he's conflicted. It's important to remember what happened to Byrd and ensure history doesn't repeat itself, he said. Young people in Jasper and the surrounding areas said they don't learn much about the incident in school. What little they do know, they learn about from family members. Okay, yes, my kids was like, they told me it's time for Black History Month. I asked them like, do they teach you about David Byrd, Byrd, Mr. Byrd? They were like, no, Mama, no. So I teach it to them. Regan Gully, a 23-year-old nurse who is Black and works at the Jasper Newton County Public Health District, said her parents told her about Byrd when she graduated from high school. They were trying to let me know the kind of world that we live in, said Gully, that you never know and you have to be careful and cautious. I did. I was like, we need to tell the teacher to go look him up or something. They never did. Brittany Cloud, because they got to follow the rules. Brittany Cloud, a white 36-year-old who works as an administrative assistant at the Jasper County Judge's Office, lived through the tragedy. She recalled a recent conversation with her 13-year-old niece, who had no clue where James Byrd Jr. was. Cloud showed her niece Byrd's grave and recounted the story. Her eyes just got so wide, Cloud said. It just blows my mind. The youth is not talking about it as much as we did. Last month, Jasper elected Anderson Land as mayor. Land is the second Black person to serve as a town's mayor. The first was R.C. Horn, who was in office when Byrd was murdered. Land said Jasper would not forget what happened to Byrd and that it should continue to move forward. We don't want to keep rehashing it, Land said. We want to move on beyond that. What was done to him was tragic. In order for Jasper to grow, we need to move on. The Buzz family requested that the city proclaim June 7, 2023 as James Byrd Jr. Day. The mayor will issue the proclamation at the next city council meeting on June 12th, according to City Secretary Karen Purmy. Harris said the Byrd family is also planning a memorial service at James Byrd Jr. Memorial Park, which the city named in Byrd's honor in 1999, which is actually the Beverly Park by Burger King. Okay. Also, the kids want me to ask y'all these questions, okay? Y'all might get a reward, a gift or something, okay? You never know. Okay. Help us report on race in East Texas. In the wake of James Byrd Jr.'s death 25 years ago, Jasper and the greater East Texas region grappled with hard questions about race and violence. Today's those conversations have gone quite in the public square. Yes, that's him. Joplin, I think. The Texas Tribune is interested in exploring this issue and would like to know more from residents in East Texas. If you, which is y'all, that live in Texas, you East Texas, okay, so get ready. If you are current or past residents of East Texas, I already did that. I already did mine with the kids, didn't I? If you are current or past residents of East Texas, please take a few minutes to fill out this survey. We will not share any information without first contacting you. Required, okay? Did you know about James Byrd Jr.'s murder before reading this story or watching the video? I'm going to show you at the end. Yes or no? Do you think your race or ethnicity makes it harder or easier to feel like you belong in your community? They saying yes. They also want to see y'all too though. To the kind of harder, okay, harder, easier, or you not sure? Have you or someone you know been a victim of a racist incident, a hate crime, or some other form of harassment related to your race or ethnicity? Yes or no? How has relationship between black and white residents of your community changed since Bull's murder in 1998? Better, worse, or the same? Is your community segregated or split along racial lines? Okay, state line. Okay, yes, no, you're not sure. Now you gotta write this question out. Where do residents of your neighborhood or community gather for community events or group gatherings? Okay. How often do you discuss racial issues or racism with your family, co-workers, peers, or other significant people in your East Texas community? Never, sometimes, frequently. Are you comfortable doing so? Why or why not? Write it out. Okay, and then at the end, tell us about yourself. Okay, what's your first name, your last name, and what city or country do you live in? I mean, county do you live in? How old are you? How old are you? And how do you identify your race or ethnicity? Hispanic or Latino, white, black or African American, American Indian, and Alaskan Native, Asian, another race, multiracial, and you prefer not to say, and your email address and your phone number, okay? Um, we will get back to you, okay? Here's the video.
He's like the protected brother. We had a very close relationship because he was the first boy and I'm the last of the youngest. He wasn't a perfect person, but he struggled to do better. I looked up to him and I knew if he was around that nothing would happen. He was a son, he was a brother, he was a father and a friend. And I don't think that comes out too much in anybody's conversation as to who he really was. I met James in the ninth grade when I went to high school. He loved playing in the band. He loved being friendly, meeting friends. He didn't do any harm to anybody. The harm that he did, I guess, drinking, he did it to himself.
A 49-year-old father is murdered in a shocking crime. Police say he was tied to a truck and dragged until he died in a hate crime killing.
And I just imagine that
Lynching.
night, James probably just couldn't believe this actually finna happen to him. He can talk about anything, but at one point he had to realize that it's not gonna happen this time. That someone took matters in their own hand and said, "Oh, your loved one is not important enough to live, so we're gonna take him away because he was born black. If he was a white man that day, he'd be still alive. He'd be 70-something years old by now." When you go to the cemetery, you still feel like he's not free because he is in a cage because of hate. Hate killed him, and hate is still causing him not to be free as he lay in peace. He's great. He's been desecrated twice. Maybe one day we'll feel safe to take the fence down.
It's a difficult subject, but I think it's one we need to come to terms with. One of the main arguments we try to make in this field of study is that lynching was not an aberration in the South, that it was seeded into the society and that it was common. Between 1882 and 1901, there were at least 100 people lynched every year, which means it was in the paper constantly as a reminder of white, black, Hispanic, and other people what could happen. With James Byrd, it's a little bit different. By the 1980s, lynching had largely ended. It harkened back to an earlier era in American history. But East Texas was the most violent place in Texas, largely because it was a historical recreation of the South. So the deep-seated racism from the earlier era of Texas history has continued into modern Texas. Systemic racism. The legacies are many.
I was a radio personality on KJAS radio station in Jasper, Texas.
Wow, for KJAS Radio News.
A listener of mine called and told myself they had found a part of our human body. Bureau approached our home and knocked on the door. And usually when a police officer you've never seen before comes to your door on your side of town, it's nothing good. And we can see it in his face. He said, "We found out that the body was your son, James Byrd Jr."
When I heard on the radio about finding a body on the Huff Creek Road, there was something about it that just didn't sound right. As I was going in, I could see these marks in the road. If you can picture somebody behind the boat skiing, and the boat turns left, and then the skier will go right. As the curve went to the left, the body came around to the right, went off the road, hit in a culvert, and the body was, the left shoulder and the head came off there. And they continued dragging the body. It was well over 2 miles that we walked following this thing.
What really keys in is how long that was, how long that trail was. Sheriff Rolls, and he's one of the best bosses I've ever had. Just general public, you saw him on the news, say, "That's Billy Rose, he's got his Tabasco tie, his cowboy hat," but he brought in the federal intervention, state intervention, and said, "Hey, we need some help."
That's when Chief Byrd Rose came in and he told us the details. The chain came off and they had opportunity to say, "You know what, enough is enough. He's still alive, let it just go." But they were so determined that they rechained him up and elbows was all the way to the bone, trying to protect his arm. I mean, he was still fighting. And I don't really recognize him as James because his dentures. I guess when the cameras was there, I was proud of Jasper to come together. People from white communities to bring us food, But when the cameras left, they all went back to their corner, like was before.
And a lot of people were afraid because in Jarrisburg, we don't have, or we didn't have, transportation like we do in the city. A lot of the people there had to walk. And so if I get caught out there by myself, what's going to happen? Am I going to be another statistic as James Byrd was?
They wanted justice. They wanted James Byrd to have justice for what was done to him.
We got justice. Black people don't get justice. And even justice don't heal. So just to put things in perspective, it's not only Jasper, it's everywhere. People say if you don't talk about it, it didn't happen. And so now I've got a new generation in Jasper. They probably never heard of the word James Byrd. I understand people have their own lives and things like that. I don't expect them to change dramatically. It's like the town step back and let people find their own way. And I didn't see any participants for is trying to keep this town together like it was that day. Cause at first I didn't talk at all. My sisters was talking because I didn't know how to process it. Sometimes you don't have the words to say to anybody because it hurt so deeply. And then one person asked me the question. She said, "You don't want to talk? You don't want to talk for James because his voice is silent now. You're the only voice he had." And that rang the bell that James can't talk. I know he could. He would talk for me.
It was actually through the whole area to Texarkana, Texas, okay? Not just 3 miles. So you gotta look up the map of Texarkana, Texas. Yes, okay? They also want me to tell y'all too. He was on my way to my party. But he said they were also in his house as well, though. He was the only one living in the boondocks, he was saying. Okay. Well, hopefully y'all enjoy this history of James Byrd Jr. Okay. You want me to do more like these? More people you do not know about? More legendary things you do not know about? Okay. Y'all wasn't taught in school, just hit me up, leave a comment down below. Okay. I'm out. Peace. Finna cook. Oh, I'm gonna come back and do the rest of them. Okay. But I gotta cook though. Okay.